You're listening to The Bird Bath. This episode of The Bird Bath is brought to you by Inventory Ally, an inventory management program built just for veterinary hospitals. If you're shaking off the brain fog of year-end counts, you've already done the hard part. Now's the perfect time to take control of your inventory with a clean slate. Inventory Ally uses your order history, consumption patterns, and seasonal trends to predict exactly what you'll need and when. With Inventory Ally, practices are seeing up to 30% lower inventory carry costs, reduced COGS by 2 to 4 percentage points on average, and up to 8 hours a week saved on inventory tasks. Imagine freeing up $70,000 in cash. What would you do with that money? Inventory Ally also comes with a mobile app and a pill counter, so you can manage inventory on the go and save even more time. Make 2026 the year you leave inventory stress and lost profits behind. Learn more and schedule a demo at inventoryally.com/thebird-bath. That's inventoryally.com/bird-bath for more. Welcome back to The Bird Bath. Each week we scrape the surface of the news you need to know, so let's get into it. This week is going to be finance and PE heavy, and also a little bit of churning. That's the churn going. Churning the old rumor mill, because there are some big things that are coming and happening, and we got to know about them. But before we get into that, let's kick off with our top story. Snout, which is a veterinary clinic wellness plan business, has secured over $110 million in capital. Snout works closely in partnership with vet clinics to offer wellness plans that bundle recommended preventative services designed to keep pets healthy and detect disease early. Plans typically include unlimited exams, vaccinations, blood works, flea and tick prevention, and more. They brought in $100 million in financing from Clear Haven Capital Management and $10 million in Series A, led by Footwork. Founder and CEO of Snout, Emily Dong, said the scariest part of veterinary care shouldn't be the bill. This capital allows us to bring preventative care to millions more pets and give veterinary teams the financial infrastructure they need to practice medicine the way it was meant to be practiced. Love seeing this, as you guys know. As you know, we had Snout as one of the sponsors of the show. I only try to bring on companies on here as sponsors that I also think are bringing great things to the industry. And so what they're doing seems like some incredible work. It's going to be a big capital raise. It's an opportunity to really put a lot of things in place, and it's expensive to put together wellness plans. We've seen people kind of battling the self-pay, wellness plan and insurance world, and how all of those things fit together. And I think wellness plans are going to be a great way for people to be able to tackle more of that. Our next story is Rover on the move. Rover acquires Meowtel, which is a cat sitting marketplace in the US. Meowtel was founded in 2015, and they've built a network of more than 4,000 cat sitters, serving 125,000 cats in 8,000 plus cities across the US, which is huge. That's so many people. Rover, which many of you know as was a dog sitting business, I've actually rovered myself a couple times, has really been stepping it up. They're bringing Meowtel into the fold here. Meowtel is going to continue to operate as a brand within the Rover group and will remain led by their co-founders. The 11 employees from Meowtel will join the over 500 employees from Rover across the globe. And like I said, Rover has been on a buying kick. Last November, they completed the acquisition of Mad Paws in Australia, which is a leading pet care marketplace. And then they also, the year before that in October, bought Cat in a Flat, which in Europe is a cat sitting one. So they've expanded their marketplace from just the dog sitting world, which a lot of people knew them as, to now bringing cats and other pets into the space. I'm going to give you the two letters that are going to be the key letters here for the rest of the episode, but P and E. Yeah, you knew it. Blackstone had actually acquired and taken Rover private in early 2024 with about a $2.3 billion deal, which is what has given it a lot of this additional flexibility to grow with different acquisitions and expansions across the globe. So welcome Meowtel to the Rover world, and it sounds like it will be a Rover world soon. Now, on to a couple stories that are forming, all right? This is in no way a birdbath endorsement of these things happening. Get my legal team on the phone here because we're saying these are what the world is talking about and the things that I think you all need to know about to make sure. But we'll start with the firmest or Firmenichist and move to things that are a little bit more on the rumor mill. But CVC Capital Partners is said to be in advanced talks to acquire the animal health and nutrition unit of DSM-Firmenich. Bloomberg reported this as well as multiple other sources. That's why I wanted to really look into it. CVC Capital is in talks to buy this segment of DSM-Firmenich in a deal that they're saying could be announced within days. The valuation is expected around 2.2 billion euros, which comes out to about $2.6 billion. And nothing is signed, but apparently it's something that we should keep our eye on. It's happened and stalled before, but the conversations right now seem like they're far enough along to start looking real. So DSM-Firmenich is doing a really deliberate strategy to move away from their animal health world. They've been repositioning themselves hard towards consumer-facing ingredients like healthcare, nutrition, and specialty outputs. And animal health has always been more of that feed-exposed side of the business. They've called this exit a multi-step process through 2025, and earlier this year, they completed the sale of their feed enzymes alliance to Novonesis for $1.5 billion. So it's not a small thing to do here. This is a big, big deal. And Bloomberg in the reporting notes that the animal nutrition and health unit brings in about $1.8 billion in revenue in the first half of 2024. So really big business. And there's an expectation that DSM may maintain a minority stake in the business as a way to lead the carve out and de-risk the exposure while hoping that CVC can grow it. Now, CVC, if you're not familiar, they're one of the 10 largest private equity firms globally. They have $186 billion of assets under management, and they're already super competitive and active in the pet and consumer businesses. They have about 60% of ownership in Petco, which is where you may have heard their name. And they're also a majority shareholder in Partners in Pet Food. So if CVC lands, they become one of the more notable private equity acquisition companies in the space. It's a really, really big piece here where we'll see an ingredients company, a company that has the manufacturing side of things, as well as the distribution and retail side of the business. So bottom line here, DSM-Firmenich is really tightening up its portfolio, and CVC is stepping into a very, very big space in the animal health world where they could continue to see it grow. Again, private equity is not going away anytime soon, and they're continuing to grow and really tackle some big things in our industry. Now, the next private equity or acquisition business here is one that a lot of you were expected to hear about. It's one that a lot of people were whispering about and murmuring about across the show floor in Orlando last month. Gosh, can't believe we're in February, but yes, last month. And that is the idea that Covetrus is rumored to be evaluating a purchase of MWI from Cencora. So Covetrus, which is private equity backed, they've done the on again, off again with the public markets, but Bloomberg is reporting that Covetrus's owners CD&R as well as TPG are in talks with private credit firms, including Blue Owl Capital, to line up new debt for the company to be able to make the acquisition of MWI. Last year, we talked about Cencora carving MWI out and making it very clear that they intend to divest that portion of the business. They say it's not really in line with what they're looking to continue to do. And so it makes a lot of sense that we're hearing constant rumors and constant conversation around what's going on here. The goal here is that Covetrus would be looking to bring about $3 billion of financing to cover Covetrus's $2 billion of existing debt and help them fund the potential purchase of MWI. Now, if you're trying to wrap your head around who all these companies are, what this means, what all the letters are, right? CDR and TPG, they own Covetrus. TPG is one of the 10 largest private equity firms in the world. They're one of the maybe 5 largest private equity firms in the world. They have $286 billion of assets under management. And they purchased and took Covetrus private in 2022, valuing that business at $4 billion then. It's something that we've seen them do. We've seen a lot of businesses reshuffling and shaking. Obviously, Covetrus has $2 billion of existing debt that's looking to be sort of reevaluated and restructured through potentially Blue Owl Capital. But the thing is, TPG is not sitting on their laurels here. They have a very large investment in the animal health space, and they're also looking to make some other really big moves right now. They are the owners of Green Cross, which, if you're familiar with the Australian market, is one of, if not the largest practice ownership groups in Australia. And Green Cross is expected to be going public potentially by the end of March in a $4 billion IPO with the intention of $700 million raised. The Australian Stock Exchange is where they're looking to bring this. And it's something that they had been looking at trying. They had purchased them off, TPG had purchased Green Cross off of the ASX about 8 years ago. And they've grown the business and they're looking to bring it back. And that money raised just from the IPO would cover their initial purchase of the company. And then they'd be looking to see pure upside from the growth of the business and the ability to liquidate some additional shares that they would own in the company. So a lot going on. I know super dense. Nothing is firm or finalized here, but the writing is on the wall as people talk about MWI and where that business is going to land. So as soon as we hear something formalized and finalized, you will hear about it here first. For more on these and other stories, join us by subscribing to our Substack. There's a link in the bio, and don't miss out on any episodes by subscribing and rating the show. For the Bird Bath, I'm Ryan Leach. See you next week.